response from Trantor, we must remain calm.
Okay, let's be real. Foundation Season 3 has been one wild, brain-melting ride. We've seen betrayals, galaxy-shattering weapons, shocking deaths, and of course, the terrifying rise of the Mule. But now, with the season finale right around the corner, Apple TV Plus has set the stage for what could be one of the biggest episodes in the entire series. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. So today, we're diving into everything we know, everything we think we know, and all the possible predictions for Foundation Season 3, Episode 10, The Darkness. From Demerzel's fate, to the shocking potential twists around the Mule, to whether or not the Empire even survives, buckle up, because this one's gonna get cosmic.
Yes. I was saving it as a gift for Brother Dawn, but now...
What we know going into Episode 10. First, let's ground ourselves in what's officially confirmed. The synopsis for Episode 10 is simple but ominous. Season finale. Gaal and the Second Foundation take the fight to the Mule as Empire's legacy suffers a catastrophic blow. That right there tells us two huge things. Gaal and the Second Foundation are finally going on the offensive. This isn't about survival anymore. This is about stopping the Mule before he remakes the galaxy in his own image. And Empire's legacy is going to be shaken in a way we've never seen before. And given what we just saw in Episode 9 with Dusk unleashing the Novacula, it's clear that the Cleonic dynasty is already hanging by a thread. But what does that actually mean for the finale? Let's dig in.
Shouldn't you go deal with her? I imagine she'll find me.
The Mule story doesn't add up. One of the most intriguing teases from Episode 9 comes from Hari Seldon himself. Hari warns Gaal, something's not right about the Mule. His story doesn't add up. Now, book readers will immediately recognize this as a callback to one of Isaac Asimov's biggest twists. In the original Foundation and Empire, the Mule turns out to be someone we thought we knew, the pathetic jester Magnifico. At the last moment, the mask drops, and suddenly the fool reveals himself as the greatest threat to civilization. But here's the catch. The show already revealed that Magnifico is a real person, and he's still being manipulated by the Mule. So the exact book twist probably won't play out here, but that doesn't mean there isn't still a twist. So what could the Mule be lying about? My prediction? His origin story. We've been fed this tragic backstory of a child outcast who grew into a powerful psychic warlord, but Hari's warning suggests there's more going on. Maybe the Mule isn't who he says he is. Maybe his rise to power wasn't organic. Maybe, just maybe, the Mule has ties to the Cleonic dynasty or even to Demerzel. Imagine if the Mule is a byproduct of Empire's own meddling. That would completely reframe the fight as Empire facing its own dark reflection. The Sack of Trantor is coming, but not yet. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather the burning city in the room. Book readers know that the Sack of Trantor is one of the defining moments of the entire saga. The fall of the Empire's capital is basically the symbolic end of the Cleonic dynasty. But here's the thing. Showrunner David Goyer has already hinted that the Sack of Trantor is being saved for Season 4. So while we might see the beginnings of it in Episode 10, the full collapse is probably going to be stretched out. So what happens instead? My guess, Trantor is scarred but not destroyed. Maybe Brother Day or Brother Dusk or even Demerzel herself makes a choice that delays the inevitable, but only for a while. It would be a classic Foundation move, showing us that Empire is on life support while dangling the big collapse for later.
I find myself considering an array of choices.
Demerzel's chains will finally break. This season has been all about Demerzel. Laura Byrne's performance has taken the character from loyal servant to tragic prisoner to something far more complex. Episode 9 gave us some of her most heartbreaking moments yet, but Episode 10 feels like the natural place for her chains, literal or metaphorical, to break. Here's the theory. Brother Dawn or even Brother Day could set Demerzel free. Imagine Cleon 24 making the ultimate sacrifice, finally realizing that freeing Demerzel is the only way to break the genetic dynasty cycle. The image of Demerzel left alone, finally free, but utterly devastated, could be the perfect bittersweet ending for her arc this season. But there's another possibility. What if Demerzel isn't freed? What if instead she breaks her programming herself? That would be huge. For the first time in centuries, Demerzel would be acting out of true free will, and the consequences for Empire and the galaxy would be massive.
All those adorable little mini-planets. You're next.
Brother Dusk's final act of madness. Let's not forget where we left Brother Dusk. Terrence Mann has been phenomenal this season, giving us a Dusk who is bitter, brilliant, and absolutely terrifying. And episode 9 ended with him unleashing the Novacula, literally turning worlds into ash. So what's left for him in episode 10? My prediction, Dusk isn't done. He's going to try one last act of apocalyptic destruction. Maybe he turns the Novacula on Trantor itself. Maybe he even tries to take the Mule down with him. But one way or another, Dusk isn't walking out of this finale alive. His story has been building to a tragic, fiery end, and I think episode 10 will deliver it.
It does hurt. What's wrong?
The Mule versus Gaal showdown. Of course, the real centerpiece of the finale has to be Gaal Dornick versus the Mule. We've been building to this confrontation all season, and now it's finally here. But how does it play out? Well, one possibility is that Gaal defeats the Mule, but at a terrible cost. Maybe she uses her own psychic abilities to trap him, leaving herself caught in the orbit of a black hole, barely clinging to life. It would be a dark mirror of the Mule's own tactics, and it would leave the door wide open for Season 4. Another possibility? Gaal loses. The Mule survives, more powerful than ever, and Season 4 begins with the galaxy fully under his control. That would be a bold move, but it would also fit the Foundation style, reminding us that this isn't a simple good versus evil story. Sometimes history bends toward darkness before it bends back toward the light.
I'm just a man who's fallen into a well, screaming for help.
Hari Seldon's secret return. Let's circle back to Hari. Remember, we saw real body Hari portaled away with Callie. Gaal never actually saw this, so as far as she knows, he's gone. But we, the audience, know better. Hari could still be out there, living out his final days. So here's my prediction. The finale will drop one last surprise. Hari Seldon, the real Hari, will return. Maybe not in person, but in some message, some vision, some last-ditch plan. It would be the perfect way to tie the season back to its roots and remind us that even in the darkest moments, the Seldon plan is still unfolding.
Addition.
There's the Harry I know.
Don't call me that.
The big twist ending. Finally, let's talk about the possibility of a twist. Foundation has never been afraid to pull the rug out from under us, and episode 10 feels like the perfect place to do it. What if the Mule isn't the final villain of this arc? What if he's just a stepping stone to something even bigger? Maybe the Novacula falls into his hands. Maybe Demerzel becomes a new kind of threat, free but vengeful. Or maybe, just maybe, the true danger isn't the Mule at all, but the chaos left behind when the genetic dynasty finally collapses. Because that's the real beauty of Foundation. It's not about heroes and villains. It's about the tides of history and how even the most powerful individuals are just waves in a much larger ocean.
I offer you refuge here on
Our nerdy thoughts. So, to sum it all up, here are my top predictions for the Foundation Season 3 finale. The Mule's backstory has a hidden twist. The Sack of Trantor begins, but doesn't finish. Demerzel is finally freed, one way or another. Brother Dusk goes out in a blaze of destruction. Gaal and the Mule face off in a psychic showdown. Hari Seldon makes a surprise return. and a massive twist ending sets up Season 4. However it plays out, one thing is for sure. Foundation has set the stage for a finale that could change the entire trajectory of the show. Whether it's heartbreak, shocking betrayals, or galaxy-shattering reveals, The Darkness promises to be an episode we'll be talking about for years to come. So, what do you think? Will Gaal defeat the Mule? Will Demerzel finally be free? And will Empire survive the finale? Or will this be the true beginning of the end? Drop your theories in the comments because I want to hear what you think is going to happen. And of course, make sure to subscribe because once the finale airs, we'll be breaking it all down in full detail. Until then, brace yourselves. The galaxy is about to change forever.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.